There's a good game somewhere inside Samson. The problem is you have to fight to actually find it. Because Samson is one of those experiences where, for the first little while, you're not even asking yourself, is this a great game? You're asking, why does this feel like this? Why is movement this awkward? Why does combat feel this inconsistent? Why does everything just feel a little bit off? And the answer, unfortunately, is that Samson is a game with ambition that just does not have the polish to back it up. And that is the story of this game from beginning to end. Because, to be fair, Samson is not boring. It's not empty, it's not one of those completely soulless games where you can tell there was no vision behind it. In fact, that's almost what makes this so frustrating. There is a vision here and you can feel it. The atmosphere is there, the tone is there, the world has this grimy, grounded edge to it that makes it feel like the developers wanted to create something that's more intimate and deliberate than your average crime sandbox. But every time the game starts to pull you in, something drags you right back out. Like a clunky animation or a stiff encounter. I mean, combat that looks like it should hit hard, but somehow feels weirdly soft. I mean, there are so many times where I'm punching the enemy in front of me and Samson just whiffs. I mean, there are moments that feel like they should be tense or immersive, and then they instead feel awkward. And after a while, that becomes Samson's biggest issue. Not that it has no ideas, but the execution keeps sabotaging the ideas that it had for itself. That's why this game is so hard to talk about. Because I don't think Samson is trash in the way that some people are going to say it is, but I also don't think it's one of those hidden gems people are going to have to rediscover and pretend that everyone missed out on. Because unfortunately, there's not much to miss out on here. It's somewhere in that uncomfortable middle zone. The kind of game where you can respect what it's trying to do while being completely honest that actually playing it feels like a chore. And in games, that matters more than anything. You can have all the atmosphere in the world, you can have a cool tone, an interesting premise, a distinct identity, but if the basic act of moving through the world, fighting in it, and interacting with it just feels awful, then eventually the whole thing is going to start to collapse under its own weight. And that's what happened to Samson. It keeps showing flashes of potential, little glimpses of a much better version of itself, which I'm sure the developer Liquid Swords had planned. I mean, I think reading up on this game, they scaled back development at some point, but the version that we have here is just not quite as strong. A version with tighter controls, more impactful combat, smoother pacing, and enough technical confidence to actually let its strengths breathe, that would have been fun to play. But that version of Samson is not the one we got. And what we got instead is a game that feels like it's constantly asking for patience it hasn't earned. And that's a hard sell. Now, with that said, I do think there's a certain type of player who might still get something out of this. If you love flawed, mid-budget games with a strong atmosphere, I mean, like the city's really cool, and you don't mind a bit of jank that's so deeply ingrained within this game's DNA, you might find Samson weirdly compelling. You might be able to look past all the rough edges and appreciate the identity that's underneath. But for most people, especially if you care about game feel, polish, and consistency, this is probably going to feel a little more frustrating than it is rewarding. And that's really the final verdict. Samson isn't bad because it lacks ambition, it's bad because its ambition keeps running headfirst into its limitations. There's a mood here, there's an idea here, there's even a version of this game that, with some more refinement, could have been something worth recommending. But in its current form, Samson feels like a game you understand more than you enjoy. Samson is one of those experiences that make you think, I like what this is trying to be far more than it makes you think, I'm actually having a great time here. And that gap between intention and execution is exactly what holds this game back. And for that reason, this game is a 4 out of 10 for me. I can't recommend it. If you lasted this long, thank you for watching. Hit that like button and let me know what you think below. Or hit the dislike button and let me know what I can do better next time. Alright, take care everyone. Goodbye.